You're listening to Neurodivergent Mates. Hello and welcome to Neurodivergent Mates. My name's Will Wheeler, joined with my co-host, Photon John. Kev, what's going on, brother?
New year, new me, new theme
New
tune.
Year. Yeah, totally. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you, Kev.
Yeah, man, it was pretty good. Did you get up to much?
Actually, I did. My business partner, he came up with his wife to Sydney from Melbourne. We spent a little bit of time together. Went out to Bathurst. Went out and
Awesome.
for people who are into their motor racing, there's a huge. Bathurst is like the pinnacle of Australian motorsport. So went out there. That was pretty cool. Just did some Christmas stuff and all of that, So it was good. It was good. But you know what? I think we better sort of talk about, we have changed the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
I think Kev and I sort of got to a point where we're like, hey, man, I think we really need to change the podcast. It's more about us. Yes, we are neurodivergent, and I'm pretty sure, mates. Is that correct, Photon John?
I think so.
I
think we qualify.
Yeah, you haven't pissed me off that much yet, man.
No. We've hung out in person. I think that,
Yeah, totally. But we should get stuck into this. We've got a really good guest coming on today. Kev, did you want to maybe introduce our guest and maybe say a little bit of what he's doing and all of that type of stuff while I get him up on stage?
Yeah, no worries. So we got Rhino today, Rhino as he prefers to be called, from Tribe Social Belonging. I live in a place called Redcliffe, just on the north side of Brisbane, and had heard quite a bit, seeing my friends' bands play at what I thought was just a venue, and then got up here and realized there were quite a bit more. But I think we'll let Rhino explain the rest.
Rhino, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for jumping on. But before we sort of get you to say anything, we'll just do a little bit of housekeeping just for our listeners. So anyone who's listening, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, and follow to all of our social media pages. We are now on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X. Kev, did you see I changed the X from Twitter to X? Yeah. I've done that. We're also on Twitch, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So please subscribe, like, and follow there. And really cool with that. Rhino, thank you so much for joining us, my man. Please share a little bit about yourself. You said you're originally from Tassie, right?
Yeah, man. Just came up. Well, I was born in Western Australia, so I've only got one head. So that's
okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I grew up in Tassie. Went through school, not doing too well until the end when I had a few people care about me, which we can talk about later on if you like. But I ended up joining the cops at 18, which I never thought anything about until I did it. Did that for 10 years. Left and came up to Queensland in 2003. And then jumped into real estate, had 3 kids, Mrs. and I sort of bizzo, did a lot I could do there. But nowadays, after a bit of a difficult time when my son got bone cancer and died, I run Tribe Social Belonging, which is a charity for lonely and isolated people that we provide opportunity through connection. That's the main core of what we do. But like, John knows me from Tribe Clubhouse, where we do lots of stuff, but we rock out a fair bit as well. And we have stacks of bands on every Saturday night, some Fridays and what have you. So there's a lot in there, Will. Like to unpack, brother.
Nice. I never realized you were a cop beforehand, man. You've had totally. Such a big change. What made you get into the police force to start with, if you don't mind me asking?
Dude, it was just a good opportunity. I was a bit lost as a kid. Dad left when I was 7. Mum died when I was 9. So I was with foster families and guardians and boarding schools and bullshit and, the whole no one wants you kind of thing. And then I found a good couple of people that I call my foster parents and a good family that said, no, you're worthwhile. you're someone we want to get going. They helped me out. I did okay at school. In the end, we figured out I wasn't a dickhead, that I actually had some brains and I could do these things. But then, mate, I wasn't sure what to do. I was at a friend's place teasing her dad, giving him a hard time, which is just fun. I like doing that. And he was a superintendent of police. And he said, you know what, you'd be a good cop. You should have a go. And we all had a bit of a laugh because I've been in trouble a bit for fighting, stealing and burning bins and doing what else you do as a young man. But did all the tests, I did all the bits and pieces, and I got in, and I loved it for 7 years. It was amazing. The last 3 weeks, it just became, you know, I don't know. It was never a dream or anything like that. I fell into, but I loved it.
Yeah, no, interesting. It's such a big change from where you've started to the awesome stuff. Not saying that what you're doing as a cop wasn't awesome, but such a big change and everything like that there. But you know, you were talking about, you know, the stuff that you're doing. You know, let us know a little bit more about that. How did you, you know, what was the, I suppose, the motivation behind starting Tribe and building from that?
Yeah, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. Like I'm 50 now, and about 10 years ago, I thought, fuck, I don't want to just work to get a bigger couch or a bigger car or have a bigger mortgage, and it just all seemed pretty pointless, to be honest. Like I just wasn't. I was providing for the family and doing whatever, but I hated what I was doing. And I mean, real estate's a pretty, you know, heartless job a lot of the time. There's not much fun in it. Making rich people richer as much as anything. But you sort of, I wanted to do something cool. I went to the Chamber of Commerce and started looking at them, and they were so hopeless. It was terrible. Like they had 27 members and 7 had turn up to meetings once a month and whatever. And I thought, so I ended up taking that over and built that to like 160 and had like 70 people come to meetings and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed doing that sort of thing. But I was still doing my job, real estate, because everyone thinks, you know, boomers are a little bit, as are my parents, boomers are a little bit like, oh, stay safe. Don't just keep your job and stay safe. And for anyone who's watching, that's bullshit. There's nothing fun in your safety zone. Don't do it. Like, you know, get out of that circle. Then, look, I was going through a divorce and my son got a sore neck, and we took him to some doctors and did whatever, and he had bone cancer in his vertebrae. Incurable from the start. It was only a matter of time, and it was the most horrible, darkest time in my entire life. It was just there's no good. The only good result you can have is a decent death, which is horrible.
Yeah.
And so that was, my business went out the window. It made you think of a lot more things about what was important. You spent a lot of time in hospital with watching people go down. I'd had experience with death and sickness through the cops, obviously, and done other bits and pieces, but this was a whole new, you know, bag of fruit as such. During that time when Jake was sick, I needed to find something good, boys. I just needed to find something that was bright, because there was just nothing. Like it was, and I started looking around and I thought, fuck, I'm so loved. I'm so supported. Like we were getting, I had to do a Facebook group of about 240 people saying, please don't ask me in the street how I'm doing, because it kills me every time you do, because it's shit. And I've just got to keep explaining it all the time, and it kills me. But if you stay on this group, I will tell you what's going on without me having to do it 20 times. And I mean, how fortunate am I that I have that many people that give a shit so much that they want to say that in the street. And like GoFundMes and opportunities and bits and pieces that happened with, you know, that was just bonkers. But I really started getting a bit concerned about, you know, this is great, but what if you don't have anyone? Like, what if you're going through your worst day, and that could be your kid dying, or you lost your cat, or you burnt your toast. It doesn't fucking matter, really. It's whatever your worst day is. So when Jakey was still around, I just put on my Facebook. Look, I'm a medium-sized fish in a little pond. Would that be fair to say, Photon? I reckon that's probably yeah.
It's about right.
So you know, in my hometown, I'm reasonably well known, but it's I put on my Facebook. I said, if you're lonely, isolated, or anxious, I'll be at the Belvedere Hotel at 5:30 p.m. and come for a beer. And people turned up, and I just kept doing it. So I did it. was doing it once a month. Then Jake died. I was pretty lost for a while. Probably not as lost as I was when he was sick, to be honest. Like he had a good death, and that was a relief, which people struggle with sometimes when I say that. But like, when that's all you got, that's what you want. And then so I started doing once a month at the pub, but once a month at the beach, or then I started doing once a month at a cafe. So you get together at a cafe, and it's just about nothing. There's 2 rules to tribe, and there's still the rules of tribe. The first rule of tribe is you got to talk to someone else, someone you don't know when you get there. So, you know, you don't sit with your clique or your bunch or whatever like that. You go and invite someone else in. If there's someone lonely on the outskirts, you go and say good day. If if you're the lonely one, you rock up and say, hey, look, you know, I was looking for somebody, and we accept you, and that's the whole thing on that. Second rule of tribe is we have a strict no dickhead policy, but I'm exempt. Just so you know. That's the 2 rules, and they work really well.
Yeah. You're lucky you got that rule in place, right?
I have to enforce it a lot, but it's there. Don't worry.
Yeah, totally.
But we started doing that, and it just got bigger. Like by the time we finished doing the other cafe stuff, like we had Mondays, we had 25 people in a 60-seat cafe, which was nuts. And then we were getting 50 plus at a 100-seat cafe, which was just extraordinary. So by that time, we created a charity, because I had a lawyer friend of mine that says, this is good. You know, you should do something with this. You shouldn't just leave it. And I said, okay, I'll do something. So we created a charity. So we're all deductible gift recipient and all that sort of stuff, which you should do. I left that for about a year and a half because I was still grieving, I think. And then I said, well, I've got to go back to work. Let's do something. And I just said, well, this is what I want to do. And we looked around and we had a flash of the blinding and the obvious, which was that so many of the people who were coming to us had disabilities, and they were coming under NDI support a lot of the time. So I started an NDIS arm, which was myself and Nairi, who works with me. All we do is adventures. There's no house cleaning or sitting around watching Netflix or, doing anything. You get in the car and you go something. And we try and incorporate as much community as we can in that, because a lot of people with disabilities are lonely, and we don't like that. So we try and engage that to occur on a lot of the stuff we were talking about beforehand, which I'll go through in a second, I guess. But that got bigger and bigger. So I said, don't be a pussy, Rhino. You better get a place. So I leased the Clubhouse. But one of the things that I love is live original music. And no one does it now. Like all the pubs now. I used to be able to go to the pub and watch Chisel or Sex or Midnight Oil and do this sort of stuff. And you got some chick in the corner, or some person. God, I love covers. Don't get me wrong, covers are great, but original music's got to come from somewhere. And so I just got sick of going to places and watch someone just do covers. So I made the club. I bought some shit gear because that's all we had money for. I had someone who knew a little bit about sort of doing sound. Sorry?
Great for punk, though.
Yeah, I love that. Punk guys love it. So one of them smoked our speaker the other day. It was great. We're sitting there and I was going, oh, shit, there's all smoke coming out. And I was like,
oh, shit. Yeah, so, there you go.
Yeah. But anyway, we started doing that, and that was another great part of me that makes me feel like we're giving opportunity, which is that part of things. And we get we had 6 of our clients come to that night on Saturday night with 4 bands playing. And dude, they go every week, and they never got to go to bands. They never got to go to a bar and just hang out and do stuff. So that's fun.
I got to say, just having played there a few times, that was the first thing we noticed. And I kind of, they're so welcome, anyone is welcome in that place. You don't necessarily notice in the crowd, but once I got up on stage and looked out, and I'm like, oh, there's I can clearly see some autistic people like me and, people in wheelchairs. And I was like, this is bloody awesome. And I, had no idea. And little context for anyone not from where Rhino and I live. We're a bit north side of Brisbane, which is the capital city of Queensland, where there's this really thriving music scene. But where we are, there's just nothing. And it used to be the way in Australia that every.
Can I say it's where the Bee Gees came from?
It is.
Yeah, bloody A. Redcliffe,
We have
right.
a whole little side street dedicated to them up here.
Totally.
But yeah,
So for our overseas listeners.
Yeah, but I've always said I grew up in Logan, for quite a while, and there was just nothing to do with music there. And it used to be the way in Australia, from what I've heard from my mum and people. They say you just go to any local pub, there'd be an originals band playing, not just cover acts and stuff. And it kind of went away. So it was really nice to see up here because I had to move, unexpectedly, and I was feeling isolated. I was in the middle of touring with my band, and suddenly stuff went down with my work, and I had to leave my apartment, which I loved in New Farm. I moved up to Redcliffe, and I was like, oh god, I'm a fair way away. So it was awesome to find just live music, and then to discover what Tribe's actually about. It was, I think I've experienced firsthand sort of the impact that has.
Well, can I also say as well, right? Like, especially so I was living down in Sydney when the pandemic was happening, and it was a little bit different down in Sydney compared to Brisbane, right? And experiencing that isolation, like my wife was working all the time. It was, I was depressed, but it felt like I couldn't get rid of that depression because it was like I'd spent so much time isolated that it controlled my life, and it almost beat me, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And I don't have any issues with isolation. I got more friends you can poke a stick at. It's freaking ridiculous. And I feel so fortunate to have that. And I'm a guy that can walk in and talk to anyone. Like, Kev will just see me walk in stacks of times when he's playing and just give everyone hugs and say good day to people and stuff. And that's not hard for me. I don't find it an issue. But it must be horrible to feel like you can't come out of your house. And lockdown was rubbish for everyone, and I just hated it. I don't love watching TV and whatever, and sort of sat there and did that. But one thing that was scary was when Jake was sick. I started not wanting to leave the house because the black dog's on you, and you just. And I remember specifically making sure my feet hit the ground. I'd walk to the shower. I'd have a shower. I'd get dressed. I'd pick up my laptop. I'd go to a cafe, and even if I just sat there and just stared at it, I wasn't falling into the pit of darkness that is your misery. You've got to fight that. And that was not fun, but that's what we coach a lot of people in sort of doing that. We get a lot of people come along with this stuff. I said, dude, get up. The fact that you're here, that's phase one. Like, you got out. But yeah, it must be horrible to experience that. And we do our best to make everyone as comfortable and as welcome as possible every day to whatever they do. So, not everyone's angelic, but it's fun. We generally do all right.
Yeah, but see, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Some people are happy with isolation, to a degree, but see, I'm a person who thrives off social interaction. So for me, it was difficult. But hey, I'm on to live another day. I'm here. I really hope I don't have to go through lockdown ever again. But anyway.
Same here, brother.
Yeah.
That's a once in a lifetime, I can tell you that.
Oh, man. But out of curiosity, how is the broader community responding to, the work that you're doing? Are you finding, maybe you first created Tribe for a certain thing, but are you finding other members of the community? Like, you're talking to us about it before, about how, you've got older people during the day playing ukulele and all that. Then you completely change it up to have a punk band blowing your speakers out in the evening. And then you're even taking people on driving lessons to help them get their 100 points up.
Yeah, well, look, let's go back to your original question. Yeah, people are getting it. First of all, a lot of people doing the whole, what's this all about? I got a lot of being called a cult, which was funny. So now we've got cult T-shirts, which is great. Just fuck them. But there was a lot of people saying, what are you earning out of this and doing that stuff? And it really wasn't about that. I've never earned less than what I'm earning now, boys, but I've never felt so peaceful. So I'll have that any day you like. people are getting us. People are turning up. The music community have been amazing. They've just loved us, and I'm so grateful. Like, I can't play a note, and I don't know how sound works and all these other bits of people. I just like to rock out. So having something that's a bit different has been so well received. Like, it's funny, we've got a band going, we're going to put a cover charge. And I said, well, could you not? I said, I'll give you a percentage if you want to earn something. I'll give you a percentage of take. But if you do 10, 15 bucks on the door, some people can't make it. I don't want that to be the case, sort of thing. So that's been cool. But the broader community, they're still like, dude, everyone's always interested in bigger, better, faster, more, and it kills me. Like, it's just, we want more money, and you want money. Well, people say all the time, how do I volunteer for Tribe? And it's just, well, turn up. If you turn up and sit down to a game of with some people that never get to talk to anyone else, that's volunteering. That's pretty cool. Like, people do that. If you want to help a guy do a jigsaw puzzle or just chat and do it, like one of the things I like to do, I'd like to get more into older people coming in, because they want to talk and they've got so much to talk about, but no one fucking talks. And it's just, so there's all those things, but it's the fun part of having Tribe, and we're a little bit different. We're a private company, which is really unusual for a charity. So we're not incorporated. I don't have a board or anything like that. I don't answer to anyone but myself. Now, the reason for that is I had a board, and they were all about money and risk, and we can't do this, we can't do that. And someone might get sued. Well, fucking sue me. Like, if I'm going to get sued for doing stuff that helps the community and make things go great, I'll fight it. I'll go to court. Happy. But it also gives you opportunity to sort of, like, Clubhouse has just sort of started paying for itself. But if you're on a board, everyone will go, I don't know. You've got to have time. You've got to do these things. So they're sort of getting the idea that I am a little bit of an anarchist, but I'm not completely crazy. So I sort of have an idea of what I want to do. But this Tribe Drive thing's been really, really good. That's just starting to take off now. I have always found it just terrible that some dickhead decided that people have to do 100 hours of driving to get their learner's license. If you are low socioeconomic, or you haven't got parents that can drive, or there's no car, or whatever it is, how do you get that? How can you make that up? So if you can't get that, you can't get a license, which pushes you further down on the economic ladder.
Hard to get a job, all of that type of stuff.
No freedom, can't get a job. You can't, you lack social activities because it's difficult to get anywhere. There's all these things. So some idiot ticked a box and said, we'll do this. So I went and saw, we started doing it in our own cars, but went and saw Bendigo Bank, who've been great with us for years, and sort of we bank with them and whatever, and they're a community bank, so they have grants and what have you. I've never had a government grant, by the way. I don't believe in them. I don't like them, so I don't want to do it. So whatever. But we went and saw Bendigo, and we said, can we get a little car to teach kids to drive? And we'll have volunteers to do it, and we don't want to have too much red tape. We just want people to be able to do it. If you're under 17, someone's got to have a blue card with you. That's cool. I'm fine with that. No dramas. But, all the other smoke doesn't really matter too much. And it's helping people. Well, there's people going to get their licenses out of the assistance that other people in the community are doing. It's not us. Like, we're not paying people to take for driving. It's people turning up and doing it. And that does a couple of things. It gives people that opportunity to get that experience, get that license. It also has a person, generally a young person, but not always. I've got a 35-year-old coming up next week who's going to start doing some stuff with us as a learner driver. But it gives that person an opportunity to connect with somebody. They have things, and if that person likes them, can you imagine if they gave them a job, or even became a reference for them, or they facilitated something for them and helped them do something? And boys, we used to look after each other, and now no one does. You sit there and don't look at each other in the street, and fuck that. There's this old thing that says it takes a village to raise a kid. I agree with that entirely. And so we're trying to build, I don't know, a tribe, a cult, a village, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a shit. But whatever these things are, to give people the opportunity, because life's who you know, and they don't know anyone.
Yeah, definitely making friends is such an important thing. And, especially moving down from Brisbane to Sydney, I never realized how difficult it is to actually make friends in such a big city. Don't get me wrong, I'm starting to make a lot of friends now, but it took me a long time because I got to a point in my life where I cut a lot of people out of my life. So, you didn't even have that person to call or anything. And then when you're starting from scratch, it definitely can be hard. You know what, right? I would if I lived up in Redcliffe, I'd definitely be at Tribe all the time just to hang out. Do you know what I mean? Even for like the old people, I'd sit there and talk to the old people. They probably love it.
Oh, mate, you got to come for karaoke. I was telling you about that before. Like, it's so Wednesday. We will have generally about 50 people turn up. Most of them will, have disabilities or they're blindly isolated. And quite often, and we'll talk about neurodiversity and stuff later on, but, a lot of people aren't diagnosed, but it doesn't mean there's not, some things that are a little difficult for them. And they get up there and scream their tits off, boys. And they'll be sitting there singing their favourite, Rage Against the Machine song. And they'll finish up. We've got non-verbal guys doing it. They're just yelling. That's all they're doing. But then they'll stop and everyone will be like,
good job.
Off. Yeah. You tell me what a day out that is for someone who's never been noticed.
Totally.
I can't overstate how helpful being a singer has been for me. In particular, with Gutterfly the last 5 years, being a vocalist with no guitar to hide behind. Music is therapy, man. It really does help. I was a much weirder, much more socially indifferent, strange kid when I was younger until I discovered music, and then I had things to connect with people on and learned confidence and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was like that when I was younger. What's that? Sorry, Ryan?
All musicians are weird, aren't they? That's what I figured.
Yeah. But now I'm weird in a way where people want to hang out with me.
Nice. Before you were talking a little bit about grants and all that, and you're not really into it, but are the local or broader governments working in with you or trying to, or you're not really looking for it?
Oh man, grants are difficult. Like the government. There's a lot to get a grant. You have to do a lot of work, and honestly, you got to kiss a lot of ass, which is not my thing, to be honest. It's in addition to that, when you get one, you are so tied down to tell people what you're doing with it, and it's almost it's debilitating. A lot of them say, it's debilitating, and so much of it goes into just paying for the ability to get the grant, and it just becomes. Just wasteful, I feel. It's not my cup of tea. I've done a lot of politician stuff through Chamber of Commerce. I ran once. I ran for council last trip around, and it was horrible. But I'd thrown so many rocks while I was Chamber of Commerce president. I thought that if I didn't step up and actually have a crack, I was a pussy. So I did, and I lost. I was really happy about that, by the way. But look, there's other ways to skin a cat, Will, and our NDIS services do really well, and it's because we're different. Like we do different things. We've got Friday night boys nights where they'll go out and do stuff. We've got a van we've purchased, and they go out and cruise around, and they'll go to a golf or but they do it as a group, so everyone hangs out, and you can go for a few beers and do stuff.
So you're NDIS registered, is that correct?
Not registered. We don't have to be registered.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're a provider.
Yeah, cool.
So our business side of things, really, the thing is the steam behind the power is our NDO support. That's where we get our dollars in. And we've currently got 25 staff in Tribe. So, we're a medium-sized business, I guess. But it's just, we try and, I don't employ, people that just want to be there for the bucks. I want people who want to have a good time. We'll rock out and go and enjoy doing things with people. I love my crew. My crew is fantastic. I'm so proud of them and the stuff that they're doing. Like, they're giving a shit. A lot of them have actually volunteered for Tribe Drive, which they don't have to do. And I think that's amazing. But, I'd rather do it under our own steam or through the community. Like Bendigo were amazing. We raised 47 grand for our Kia Carnival, the mothership, as we call it. And that was through some bands helping us out, through a gala ball we did, which we sold out, and then some donations from businesses in our area.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, dude, it was just so cool. And, you know, I like it better that way. I don't want a handshake with a fucking politician out the front of some place and go, oh, yeah, and then do
But can I say, right, with grants and that, like, the hardest thing is, like, you've got to actually show what you're going to spend those grants on and put all this stuff before you even get it. And it's almost like you're sort of like trying to create the future, and if that makes sense, because I look at a lot of that stuff and it's really difficult. If you've never really worked in that side of things, it's difficult, you know? And then sometimes the grants are just pity crappy things as well.
Oh, I mean, exactly. But right, on that note, I respect the fact that it's government money, taxpayers' money, our money. So you've got to say, this is why I'm giving to someone. I'm cool with that. That's not a problem. What I struggle with is like I hate business plans. They're bullshit. I've done 3 business plans because I had to for things. None of them have gone close. Like you said, mate, my business plan at the start, Will, when I kicked off my life, my working life was be a copper forever. That worked out. I mean, so for that, it just seems ridiculous. I never saw myself running a charity and being a bar owner that has a place like ours. Never thought. But it's, and the other part too is, to be honest, the same guys get the grants all the time. Like they're in there, they know this stuff. A lot of them have professional grant writers. That's what they do. Just banging them out. And if you've got that sort of time on your hands, go for it. But mate, I would rather get money in the door by giving people crazy cool experiences and giving them friendships that we hope last for years and years and years, and experiences that they'll never forget. Mate, I'd rather do that than kiss ass at some freaking, conference or some bullshit.
So, sorry, did you have something you wanted to say, Kev?
I was just going to say, it seems to be a very Redcliffe thing. I was born here. I didn't live here most of my life. My mum moved this way when I was tiny. But coming back, just seeing, you've got shops dedicated to just selling historical things from the local area. And, people love to talk about, how Redcliffe has gone throughout its history and stuff. And I think you picked a really good spot to do something like that, because community is huge here. Yeah.
Now, I got here. You say you came back. I got here. I did well at real estate. I started my own business training agents on how to do auctions and marketing and negotiating and all these bits and pieces. And while I was doing that, I had some business owner who offered me something that was too good to be true. And guess what? It turned out to be too good to be true. So I got stranded. It fucked me for ages, actually. It really hurt for a fair while financially. But I ended up in Redcliffe. And so I love the place. I think I never want to leave. They'll take me out of here in a box. And it's just, the fortunate part too, Kev, is what you were saying, is it's big enough to matter and small enough to be heard, I reckon. Yeah. That's sort of what I reckon. So like that big fish, middle-sized fish in a little pond, that works pretty well. So, we'll probably expand. We've got guys that want tribe clubhouses and stuff on the sunny coast and want them in other areas and whatever. And we'll do that, but I don't want to push that at the moment. It's not about having more. I want to make it better, know what I'm doing.
Can I say, right, like, I see what you mean, but to tell you the truth, there's nothing like that down in Sydney. I'd love something like that in Sydney. Do you know what I mean? Because like it's just so hard. And you know what? Sometimes I've gone into some done some volunteering and stuff like that, and the vibe is very much like if you're an outsider. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't get that feeling with you guys. I feel that if I was to rock up, you're not going to make me feel like I'm an outsider. You're going to make me be like, man, here's Will. Set him up with some cards or something. I don't know. If
I'm there, I'm there, or most of my crew. I'm not saying everyone's. I'm pretty outgoing, and I've got a couple other my guys that are really outgoing as well. But if you're there, you walk in that door and you're alone, generally someone come up and go, "Hey man, how you going? What can we do for you? Have you been here before? What's your name?" Because our goal, like we're a cafe during the week, but our core purpose is not to sell toasted sandwiches or coffees or booze. Our core purpose is to create that opportunity for somebody to engage with other people and step out of their comfort zone. Like I said, there's nothing good happens in your comfort zone. You're comfortable, but you're not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. So we pride ourselves on making people feel as welcome as possible. You get some people that stand in the corner of the car park and then walk away and say, "Oh, no one helped me." Well, fuck, come on, you got to get in. You got to have a go. But that's the idea. Well, that is absolutely the idea. We want everyone to feel like it's a bit like Cheers. Everyone knows your name, and that's how we try and sort of do things. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome because like I said, I've been to other volunteer things in the past and it's felt like you're the outsider and like you're not welcome. It's like you have to prove yourself and it's like that's pushing people away. Can't you see that? Because the volunteers and these people are valuable. Do you know what I mean? Their friendship is valuable because it can bring joy to people.
And if you're volunteering too, I think it's important that you're not feel like an employee. I think you got to feel part of a community event, with something, a part of the community to help people.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I agree, and I'm not here to yuck on anyone's yum and say that I know everything I'm doing. But the biggest thing is, I just don't find it hard to accept decent people. Like some people are hard to talk to, and some people talk too much. You've got all these things in life. No one's bullshitting about that. Like, not everyone's just a joy, but it's not hard to give someone a place where they feel safe, and that's the thing. And Kev, when you're there, mate, I hope you're at the front saying good day to people you don't know and checking people out, and know who you are, and when you come up, you can do that as well and do whatever. But it's just easy. And it's funny, I've got a mate of mine, Ron, and Ron hates people, so he says. When he was first mates with me and stuff like that, I was a bit more, I guess, more outgoing and a bit more chatty and huggy and all that sort of stuff than him. But he comes to Tribe now, oh man, he'd give out 50 hugs a night. He just rocks in and goes, meets everyone, and everyone's his mate, and he has a good time doing it. And it honestly fills his boots. He just feels great after it. And that's not volunteering as such. It's just letting yourself go. Like, if
it's having a good time.
Yeah, well, it's like
feels comfortable.
Yeah, well, I guess you said, John, you said before about that there's so many different people and so many different abilities and all that sort of stuff. Well, the biggest thing I reckon, and on disabilities and neurodiversity or whatever you want to say, is like once you hit the doors, no one gives a fuck. And I mean that in every beautiful way. The biggest thing is there is no difference. We're all the same. It's just that some people are a little more interested in this, or some people do a bit more of this. It's not, So that's kind of how it rolls for us, and I love that, Phil.
Yeah, I always make an effort to talk to my autism reader. Is quite good, having autism, but talk to the autistic.
You know more than me, brother. I wouldn't know.
I've met a few there, and always try to take some time to talk to them. And I have a much better, as a musician, and maybe it's just because I'm an autistic musician, but I have a better time there playing a show and then going out and talking to these people who are so happy to be in an environment like that, which they would never have gotten to, otherwise. So it's sweet.
Yeah, totally. So, you were saying you put on concerts at Tribe. So how helpful has that been? You were talking about the neurodivergent community a little bit before. How helpful have you seen that to be for that community?
From the feedback I get, it's amazing. And there's a lot of parts to it. And look, I reckon I am neurodivergent, but I'm not. I don't know if I am or not, or anything like that. And as I said,
no judgment here, mate.
No, but the truth is, I don't care. Like, my wife just looks at me sometimes and says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" It's like, nothing. I'm great. But what I love is that real feel of no one cares, and there is no judge, and we get people there like, you get people that just want to roll around, dancing their asses off, and we've got people there that feel like, that some of the things that set people off is if it's too loud or if there's other bits and pieces. So we always have, earplugs. We've also got a good outdoor area that, geez, so many people hang out the front, don't they, Kev? So there's always people out there doing their bit there, but everyone's welcome. And I mean, it's so weird. Like, it's interesting with obviously people with psychosocial disabilities or, difficulties sometimes, you can't tell. So it's easy to say, people are accepted. Well, a lot of people probably wouldn't notice. If you look at the people that don't have Kev's radar or don't need Kev's radar, like they've got, Clinton we've got there, who's basically fairly difficult verbal, wheelchair up bid and all that sort of stuff. He sits out the front and just does donuts out the front there and waves his hat around, and he never gets to do that. And then you've got other people at the front that are yelling too loud and doing all the stuff that people get pissed off at a pub. And that's their place to do it. And no one gives a shit. And I just think, I can't say myself, but geez, that must make people feel pretty good that they can be themselves.
And they probably come back because they can.
I mean, we get a pretty regular crowd. We've got a small regular crowd. I mean, a lot of people follow bands and stuff, which is great, but we've got a solid crowd there that come in and they be entirely themselves. If you were doing that down at a local, establishment,
be kicked out,
your security be onto you pretty rapidly, I reckon. And I dig that, and that's the reasoning behind it. I mean, I know what I try and create, but what I see sort of occurring is what makes me really happy about it. Like, I've said before, like, I don't really care like what someone's ability or disabilities. It's don't be a dickhead, and if you do that, we'll be fine.
It's funny though. It's like no one cares, but everyone cares.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
like they don't care. You know what I mean? Like they don't care.
Oh yes, right now, but but everyone cares about.
They do care about the people, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
No, and thank you. That's really cool. I might write that shit down. I'll get that later.
Everyone cares, but everyone cares.
When no one cares, but everyone cares. So that's great. But look, that's just been a really fun little journey for me watching that all happen. Because, like I said, brother, I didn't know what I was doing. I made this for me. I made this for me because I was fucked, and I was just so.
And you probably found it's not about you anymore, right?
Oh, no. I get annoyed. I get annoyed that everyone says I've got to be in the freaking videos and the marketing and all that sort of stuff because everyone knows you're Rhino. Well, if we put someone else in it, they might know them as well. But I'm the stupid. I think it's my fine for features that are part of the issue.
It stands out a lot there, mate. Must be a Redcliffe thing.
Well, maybe I don't know.
Because Kev looks exactly the same.
Pretty good.
Big long beard,
yeah.
That's a thing.
But no, it's certainly like it's interesting. Nairi was at a conference today about finances because we want to make sure we're a charity. We want to make sure we're doing everything spot on and have all our I's dotted and T's crossed or reversed, whichever one you want. But and she sat down next to someone who was from a carers organisation. So people that it's no NDIS, but they're caring for their family members and all that sort of stuff, and the elderly people and all that sort of stuff. And she looked straight at Nairi and looked at her shirt and said, "Oh my God, I follow you guys. I love what you do." And I've been talking to people about coming to you, and we're just saying, "Well, come on, what are you doing?" Like, and the thing is, you might be if she turns up, like Will, if you turn up, you might be the best thing that someone's had happen to them in a week just by talking to them. So it's not. There's no mad science behind this, or there's no. I don't know if you've ever done networking, but God, it's horrible. It's just so shit.
Networking is my life. You know what I mean? That's pretty much my life.
Mate, I'd rather go to the pub. I'll meet more people and do more business at the pub than I ever would at networking. I love this one. Right, hi, I'm Ryan. I'm in real estate, like with a card. And who gives a shit? So
I don't even take cards anymore, to tell you the truth. I'm just like, whatever.
Stupid. Yeah, I'm hearing it. But and obviously I'm opinionated, I guess, and this is my opinion. But I love that when people turn up, like, they're sitting there telling me how how many issues they've got, and how many problems they've got, and how down they are. And I said, if you turn up, you might end up talking to someone who's about to neck themselves, or have just lost their home, or they're just in the darkest depths, and you could be their greatest thing. And all you do is turn up. Yeah, but you don't know.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You just don't know what people are going through, and sometimes that little bit of, I suppose, social interaction could be just what they need.
Oh man, we've had plenty of people say that, and talk's fine, whatever. But plenty of people have said that they're, preparing to end it all and kill themselves and do whatever. But then they found Tribe, or then they came to Tribe. What's funny too is you get people that come to Tribe for a bit and then you don't see them again, and you bang them a message. Hey, where you going? You're good. I said, yeah, man, I'm just so much better now. Like, I just felt better. I needed that. And now I'm living my life. I've moved or doing this, or I've got a missus or a boyfriend, or, and that sometimes you just need a kick. Like, something's got to happen. And I find it difficult when you're in a counsellor's chair sometimes going, yes. Oh, that's the time. We'll see you next week. That's just part of the system, I know. But, if you come along and find yourself involved in something and you're a part of the whole shebang, it can be pretty cool.
See, for me, sometimes I find the biggest problem with me is, especially with my business and everything, I can get very too focused on that. So I reckon something like Tribe would be a fantastic thing for me to be able to get away from business. Because people are like, oh, go for a walk. But when you go for a walk, your mind's still ticking over and you're thinking, you need to go somewhere where someone or something can completely take what's in your mind and just start talking about something else.
Dude, it's like people, I got a hip replacement a few years ago, so I can't run or play basketball anymore, which sucks. But I said, oh, you should swim. Dude, that black line drives me insane. My head just goes, and I've just got every thought happening at the same time, and there's nothing but the sound of water in my ears. It's not relaxing for me. I'm sorry. But that's the truth, brother. And you it's when you get involved in something that's not your tunnel of vision, if you like, and you get listening to someone else's stuff, and you get down their tunnel. Or then you start finding common ground on things. And this is not, this isn't new stuff. Like, humans have been social animals ever since we came about. But sometimes you forget. And the problem with the workplace that we've got these days is it's always bigger, better, faster, more. It's like, my wife, she works for a company and she does really well. She's amazing. And she's a sales rep. Anyway, I love this. Every time she hits a target, they go, and they raise a target. So there's no finish line. There's never an end. People say, I'm getting there, mate. Bullshit. Yeah. It just keeps moving all the time. And so you get tired into that.
Sorry. You were talking about the getting outside your comfort zone thing. One thing I really admire about Tribe as well is, I know with the autism, I mask quite well, generally when I'm on this podcast or if I'm out of the house, but I still really struggle with people that I don't know and things I don't feel comfortable with. That's why I've made sure that we spoke a few times before we did this. But
you're not comfortable, brother.
Sorry?
You know that they don't know you're not comfortable. You know that.
Yeah, but also when I walk in there, that place feels comfortable. So I think you're having a success rate there with people like myself that other places can't have. Because
thanks, brother. And
you truly do feel welcome there.
I love that, and I started it, but it's all the people that's the shit. Like, it's a tribe. That's why it's the best name for it that I could ever think of. It's like, you look after each other, you say good day, you talk to each other, you make people feel good. Like, dude, I rip through that crowd sometimes, getting in there or going through the beer to get a beer or going to sort something out. No one's a prick. Like, no one wants to have a crack or get shitty. It's like, oh, g'day, mate, how you going? And that's, a lot of them don't know who I am in that place or whatever, but it happens everywhere, and I just dig it. And this is one of the things about expanding that I guess makes me a little nervy to a degree, that I need to find people like our people that want to do that sort of thing. And if you're going to rock up and want to massive wage. Like I had a guy turn up. He was from the Gold Coast, weirdly. That was strange, wasn't it? But anyway, he turned up and he said, I love what you're doing here, and I'd like to, join in the business with you, and I want to do that and do this. And I'm thinking, dude, you don't feel like my people, to be honest. But it felt very in my ex-real estate days. And
your gut feeling, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with my gut. Like Kev says he's pretty good. I'm pretty good with mine too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I was sitting there waiting for a thing to let me know, and then he said, "Oh, yeah, of course, all your support workers would have to pay $10 to come in." And I said, "No, we're done." I said, "When have you ever paid a cover charge to get a coffee? Like, you don't do that. It's not a thing." And he said, "Oh, but they're using your services and they're doing it." And I said, "No, like we are selling coffees and sandwiches, and we are providing an atmosphere that we hope a great part of the community that doesn't necessarily feel wanted or welcomed wants to be at." So, that's, I just found it, but that's pretty typical of what people want to do. It's like, how can we make money?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, do other like businesses in the community donate to you, like food maybe or anything like that?
Oh, people have done great stuff. Like, we don't ask either, Will. Like, we're a business.
Yeah.
The charity stuff is right. The charity stuff's really good. I like that for the big stuff, like getting our van. That was just such a great effort. And now we've got this cool van that we all got wrapped and all this sort of stuff. Our people love it because it's so recognisable as the mothership. It gives so much opportunity for people that don't have transport or can't get to our gigs and stuff like that.
Sorry, how many seater van is it?
8.
Oh, cool. What brand is it?
Kia Carnival.
Oh yeah, cool.
Little plug there. It's freaking cool. But it's the pride of the fleet, that one. But so those things are great. We get we pay for most of our stuff, but we'll get we get some people that will give us, like, if it's a $2,000, like I had to buy some t-shirts, and I had some guys that, I'll tell you another one. I had to get the car wrapped, and it was going to be $1,800, and I said, dude, I've just got to wait a second. I can't quite afford that at the moment. And they just said, well, what can you afford? I said $1,000, and they said they can do it. But what we can do with that as well, because they're donating $800 worth of their
promote them on the side of it,
labour, all that sort of stuff like that. I can do that, and we've got those on the van. But what we also do, we can give a receipt, which is tax deductible, legally tax deductible for people to take, so they can have a little bit back for doing that. But what we generally get is donations of stuff that is a bit off centre, which is really funny. So I'll send Kev a photo later on. We got a massive donation the other day from a group called Knits for Charity. So we now, on a 37-degree day in the clubhouse, have so much knitted goods in our place. It's completely off its head. We've got scarves and beanies, and all we're going to do with that is give it away to people that want it, that want to come in and do it.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to give shit. Like, it's, But look, the money side, I don't. We will ask. Like, we've got a gala ball coming up in March. We'll do that one again because it was stacks of fun. We raised about 17 grand doing that, from people buying seats, and also people doing auctions and a couple of other bits and pieces, people buying bits and pieces. So that was cool. And a section of society likes to support in that way. So that's great. There's no problem with that. We are really trying hard to run an outdoor concert in, Picnic Hill, Kev, near 7-Eleven and all that stuff, just across the road from us. Yeah. So we want to do a pretty decent concert there with a decent headliner and do some stuff there. And a couple of things that, that's fun for Redcliffe and fun for the community as well. But I also want to get our guys, our tribers, if you like, involved in doing some pieces, because being part of that mechanism is fun for people who've never had that opportunity to do that. And we can just rock out like we do as well. So, and we hope to raise some money out of that and do whatever, if not this year on the track sort of thing. But so, and also too, to be honest, one of the greatest things about our charity status is that we get to do really good salary sacrifice stuff with our staff. It's freaking cool. Like, we get different stuff we can do. Like, our guys don't pay tax under 20 grand. And and I don't know all the details about that, but to be able to give that to my guys, who I freaking love so much, is great. I just dig that. So the effort we put into doing the auditing and the tax and the all those other stuff, mate, my crew get a bit back for that, and I dig that. So the charity stuff's great. If anyone wants to donate, go your hardest. I'd love to have someone that sits here and goes, Rhino, here's 50 grand, go do that. Woohoo!
Yeah, here's another car.
I'll do some cool. I don't know. We'll do something cool with it, but I don't want to be all the time pleased. I want to be love our shit and join in. And if you're loving our shit and joining in, you're helping. Like I'll tell you a source of charity, which is amazing. So few of the bands that play at our joint ask to get paid. Just so few. Like it's really unusual for a band to ask to get paid. We'll pay. I've said before, like we'll do 20% of bar take. Happy to do that, do whatever. But man, most of them just say, no, we just love playing here and we love what you do. And so that helps us. That's a donation.
It's weird that's never, because our band, we work really hard and we always chase pay and stuff, but it's just not a conversation we've ever had there.
It blows my mind, dude. Like
we're just happy to do it.
And I feel so fortunate doing that because, I've spoken to some other live music venues and they're not like us at all. Like they're a business and they've got to make money. I get that. That's fine. But it's because NDIS is our main form of income, we can provide a lot of things for Nicks. And we want to do that. We want to keep doing that. Like, I mean, we do food, but we've got Domino's and KFC and Macca's next door. So I'm not going to lose my shit if someone brings any of those things into our place.
Yeah.
And because we're not 100% reliant on the Clubhouse earning big bucks, well, it's good not to care about the little shit. Like, that's just cool. But the bands help us out so much with that. It's like it might only be $200 or $300 on a Saturday night, to be honest, on a decent night. But we had a gig the other day. We had our best gig ever, and but they did take the door, so they did their door hots on that and do whatever. But man, that just helped us so much because we didn't have to chuck it, give out a heap of money for it. It was all sort of self-funded by them. But those guys, I don't think they gave a shit, to be honest. I think they had a really good time and they enjoyed themselves, and that's what makes it fun for us.
That's the main thing. Man, it sounds like you're doing some amazing stuff there. Definitely when I get up to Redcliffe, I hope I can come in and visit you guys there and be part of the tribe.
Mate, everyone's welcome, brother. I think you might have picked that up in the whole thing. But,
yeah. I don't think I'd feel too unwelcome coming in, yeah?
I'm pleased with that.
Kev, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we finish up? Rhino, thank you so much for coming today. It's been so insightful to hear about all the awesome work you're doing, and hopefully maybe this has rubbed off on some of our listeners who, if they're in the area, please check you out as well.
Oh, that'd be sweet. But look, also too, obviously it's not all me. I've got a crew. I've got guys like Kev that are sitting here, bands that help us, people that come in. Man, it's a tribe. It's a movement, and I dig it.
Yeah,
Kev, did you have any? Yeah, sorry, Kev.
Oh, the last thing I wanted to say was I think this has been a bit of a lesson in how to do things differently too. That it's
totally. So, Ryan, before we do close everything up, where can everyone maybe connect with you guys, or social media, website? I'm not sure. What's the best place for people to check you out?
Websites are a pain in the ass. Ours hasn't been updated for about 6 months because it's too hard to do. Facebook and Instagram are pretty good. So we've got Tribe Social Belonging, and we've also got Tribe Clubhouse. Jump on there, send messages, do whatever. You boys can hand out my number and my email address to anyone you like anytime. I do not care. Go your hardest. But yeah, just give us a yell, and if there's anything we can do, or if anyone's got an idea, I love a good wild idea. I love crazy shit, so you send me something and you never know what might happen. But look, we'd love to see as many people as we can. As I said, for both if you need help or you want to give help, because the truth is they both cross over all the time anyway. So look, you'll find us if you want to find us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Kev. You're all cool with everything?
Yeah, man. That was great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Rhino. Definitely check out the work that Rhino... Whoops. Sorry. I just pressed something that I wasn't supposed to then. Definitely check out the work Rhino's doing. And, yeah, please go to all of their social media platforms. My name's Will. join with my co-host Photon John, and this is Neurodivergent Mates. Till next time.